My name is Laura, and I'm a writing tutor at the San Jose State University Writing Center. Today, we will be learning about scientific abstracts. This topic is important because it is a part of writing and publishing research papers, is used to apply to conferences, and is used to propose research projects or apply for funding. They are frequently expected in classes, particularly in upper division undergraduate classes and throughout graduate school. So let's jump in. First of all, what is an abstract? An abstract is a short summary that comes before a long piece of writing. It is usually around 100 to 300 words and summarizes the whole work. It establishes an article's main purpose. It also highlights the niche of the paper and the contributions it makes to pre-existing literature and research on the subject. Abstracts can come before proposals, certain formal pieces of writing, and journal articles. Today, we will focus on abstracts for scientific journal articles. Abstracts are important for two main reasons. The first is that the abstract is the first thing that a reader will see. It helps set the reader's expectations for the paper by giving them a brief summary of what they will be reading. It also helps readers understand difficult articles by letting them familiarize themselves with the general information before getting into the more complex parts of the reading. Another reason why abstracts are important is that they may be the only part of your paper that is actually read. Those researching through a scientific database often use an article's abstract to determine whether the article is relevant or not before actually reading it. Abstracts may also be used as an explanation for an article during a poster presentation, or more generally at academic conferences. According to Hyland's model, abstracts will commonly have 5 parts. They are introduction, purpose, method, result, and conclusion. Each part has a different communicative goal or specific function. Let's look at the first part. The introduction introduces the topic of the paper. It should contain the most relevant background information. Below is an example of an introduction section. In this example, depression is a key phrase because it identifies the main topic of the paper. In Tijuana, Mexico, is another key phrase that tells us the specific setting where the study was conducted. The second part is the purpose. When writing the purpose, you must ask yourself 2 important questions. What is the main goal of the paper? And what is being tested and/or measured? The answers to these questions make up the purpose. Note that while the purpose is an important part of the abstract, it is not always explicitly stated and can be integrated into the introduction or method sections. This is an example of a purpose section. Here, determine the prevalence and correlates of depressive symptoms serves as a key phrase as it clearly states the objective of the study. The third part is the method. This is a brief explanation of what was done. You should include short descriptions of the subjects and variables, as well as the techniques that you used. Below is an example of a method section. In this example, 584 patients completed a questionnaire is an important key phrase to include because it describes the number of subjects included in the study and the type of study that was conducted, which was a questionnaire. Descriptive statistics and multivariate logistic regression is another key phrase as it gives a brief summary of the specific statistical methods used during the study. The fourth part is the result. Ask yourself, what were the results of this experiment? Be straightforward. While numbers are appropriate here, avoid too many, as they can feel heavy and intimidating. Here is an example of a results section. Here, a key phrase is that depressive symptoms was 55%. This phrase states the most important numerical finding of this particular study and directly relates to the study's purpose. The phrase associated with depressive symptoms would also be important to include, as it states the main variable associated with the study. Finish your abstract with a conclusion. In this, summarize your key findings. Below is an example of a conclusion section. The phrase Mexican Free Clinic exceeds prevalence rates shows the main conclusion that can be pulled from the study and highlights its additions to research and literature in the field. The phrase address socio-ecological risk factors for depression identifies further action that the study's findings support. Now, we are going to do an activity to test your understanding of Hyland's model. I'm going to show you an example of an abstract. Try to label its introduction, purpose, methods, results, and conclusion. Here is the abstract. Please label each section with its corresponding part. Pause now and resume the video once you have finished. Here is the abstract with all of its parts labeled. Sentence 1 is the introduction. It introduces the topic of the paper, which is to discuss leaf deposition and its influences over key ecosystem processes. Sentence 2 is the purpose. It explains what the study is observing and where it is taking place. Sentence 3 is the method. It summarizes what happened during the actual study. It gives specific details, like the elements being tested and the amount of time the study lasted. Sentence 4 is the result. It tells us what the researchers were able to learn from the study. Lastly, sentence 5 is the conclusion. It briefly explains what the results of the study contribute to the literature as a whole. When writing an abstract, there are a few good practices you want to partake in to make sure it is as clear and informative as possible. The first good practice is to keep it short. Your abstract should be between 100 and 300 words. Additionally, do not cite in your abstract. While citations are crucial to the longer work, an abstract should only give an overview and should not go into such detail. You also want to use concise language to keep your abstract short and sweet for the convenience of your reader. Also, make sure you cover the entire paper so the reader receives an accurate idea of what your paper is about. Lastly, follow the directions for your journal or school assignment. Requirements for abstracts can differ, and you always want to follow the instructions to the best of your ability. Here is a quick recap of what we have learned today. Scientific abstracts are summaries of research articles. They help your reader get a preview of your paper. They are typically divided into 5 parts: introduction, purpose, method, results, and conclusion. While these parts are helpful as a starting point, the parts of an abstract are flexible, and you should include what is most important for your scientific paper. And that's it. Thank you so much for following along. Today you have learned about scientific abstracts, why they are important, and how to write one. Like and subscribe for even more help writing at a college level. Check out the San Jose State Writing Center blog, The Right Attitude, for all the latest tips and conversations on writing. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to stay connected. Take care and happy writing!